Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Joanne Jacobellis, and I've lived in Windsor since 1988. And I thought it was a great town to move to because there was a lot for children, it seemed, with Northwest Park and the River Trail and just a lot of open space. And my daughter, my oldest daughter, she was Shad Derby Queen in 2005.
Uh-huh.
So that was a big highlight, and I guess we're in Windsor history because she was the Shad Derby Queen that year,
Uh-huh.
and so that was a lot of fun.
Who sponsored her? Do you remember?
Ashley's jewelry.
Oh,
store.
okay, okay.
Yep.
All right.
And after that, my daughter went to the Air Force Academy
Oh,
in Colorado Springs, and she graduated. Right now, she's a major in the Air Force.
Uh-huh.
She's in Shreveport, Louisiana, and she works out of Barksdale Air Force Base.
right.
And she met her husband from the Chicago area at the academy, and he's a pilot. He flies the B-52 bombers. So I thought that was interesting. She was really affected by 9/11
Mm-hmm.
when that happened, and wanted to serve her country. And then Windsor was a great school system. My kids got a really good education here. The town, I think, gets a bad rap. The schools aren't good, but my middle son, he took AP classes in art.
Mm-hmm.
He's an artist now. He's in Long Beach, California. He still is in contact with his art teacher from Windsor High School.
Who was that?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask. Right after I said it, the name Mrs. Oh no.
Well, if you think about it as you go
Yeah.
along.
There were two teachers actually. Yeah, and so I mean they made an impression on him, and the classes that he took in AP art were tremendous. He got into the San Francisco Art Institute. So he went there, and now he's an artist.
How long since they've graduated?
My daughter graduated in 2005 because she
Okay.
was a senior with the Shad Derby. And then my son, 2008.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So once he went to San Francisco Art Institute, we lost him to California. So he's been there. He's an artist now in Long Beach, California.
Uh-huh.
And let's see. Then my youngest son, he at Windsor High, he took all AP classes and got a great education. And he followed in his sister's footsteps. He also went to the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs and graduated from there. He was at Windsor High School. He was number 3 in his class.
Mm-hmm.
He was always studious throughout, just not high school, starting here at Oliver Ellsworth Elementary School, Sage Park. So he did really well here in the school systems as well. That's what I try and tell people, that Windsor has a lot to offer in their schools.
Usually those comments don't always come from people who live in Windsor.
Right. Other neighboring towns, and I'm like, they had more AP classes than that you could imagine at Windsor High.
I think there was only one school that had more AP classes than Windsor.
Really?
That and other towns didn't pay for them, but Windsor did.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so I always defend the Windsor schools. I mean, all 3 of my children, did so well.
Sure.
Coming out of the Windsor school system. And so my youngest son, he graduated in, let's see, 2013, I believe. Yeah. And then he went also, like I said, to the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. He was third in his class at Windsor High, and then I think second out of the Air Force Academy.
Oh, wow.
And then he went, after he graduated, he went on to Oxford University, and he got his master's. He was there for 2 years. And then his first assignment, he was at in Dover, Delaware, at Dover Air Force Base. He was in public affairs, and he was there for 2 years. Right now, he's in the country of Turkey, and he's doing public affairs there at the base.
Interesting place to be these days.
Right. I hope to. He's been there since June, and we hope with COVID and everything we'll be able to visit him while he's there. It's only a year assignment, so hopefully we'll get to go if it's safe enough. And then after that, he wants to. He's applied to teach both at the Air Force Academy and at the Annapolis, the Naval Academy. He wants to teach either history or French. While he was at Oxford, he learned Arabic, so he's fluent in Arabic as well. So I just wanted to, give a plug for the Windsor school system because, like I said, all 3 children are, very successul, and I owe it to the school system here because the teachers
you probably
really
had a little bit to do with it.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll take a little credit. So, but it was a great town to move to, and my daughter was 1 when we moved here. My 2 sons weren't born yet, and my husband was working for a company. They had an office in Bridgeport, and they had another one in the Boston area, and they were getting a lot of work in the Hartford area, and that's what brought us to Windsor, his job. And then we bought one of Ed Sunderland's colonial homes. We're not on there's Settlement Hill, and then there's a few on Palisade. We're the only one on. So we loved the colonial home. We live in the from 1770.
Right.
Unfortunately, it wasn't from Windsor. It was the house was moved and disassembled from Avon.
Right.
It was in Avon and then brought here, but part of Ed Sunderland's historic homes in Windsor. So, and where the original owners of the house when it was built, we've lived there ever since. And the other homes, there's been like 3 or 4 different families, that have lived in the house, but we're the original owners. And we love history, so I like that Windsor was the oldest town in Connecticut, and my husband and I both came from Fairfield, Connecticut, and it's another historic town.
Right. Down along the Gold Coast.
Right. Yeah. And right before I came here, I was at the Ellsworth homestead for Constitution Day today. They're having activities there. So, yeah. So I like Windsor's history and the rivalry between Wethersfield. Right.
We always like that because we're the winning side. So.
Yep. So Windsor's a great town for history, education. Northwest Park is a jewel.
Sure.
Now I bring my 2 grandchildren from Louisiana here. They were just here for Labor Day, so the next generation is experiencing Windsor now,
Great.
which is nice.
Anything else remind you of anything you want to talk about that you hadn't?
Let's see.
When you first moved here, you still have some of the same friends now in your neighborhood, or?
No, a lot of people moved away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, our neighborhood has changed. When we first moved, there was just one house across from us, an older home, and since we've lived there, they built I think 5 houses from the original house that was there. It was just all land, and then it was the railroad tracks. So we tried to fight it because right next to our house is a vernal pool there, and salamanders and everything, are there. So we contacted Northwest Park or the environmental and said, are the houses gonna disturb all this, and is it bad for them? But I guess because there's the pond and then a road in between, they said no.